All right, this should be Thursday, September 12th, regular class, not the advanced class, because they have a whole different video today because they're doing different stuff in their class. So make sure you're watching the correct one with you. And so for the regular kiddos, we have homework up there, which is the story homework number 3, which is on the left-hand side, and a bell work, which is the alphabet phrase, which is number 5. Here's the tough thing. You have to put 2 entries into your notebook, one on the left, one on the right. So make sure you have the correct one in the correct spot. And we're going to go through and try to help you out with both of those, but it is going to require thinking and responsibility and paying attention like that. You can also wear either red or blue tomorrow for support of the mud sock thing, and that'll give you guys a chance to get house points. So wear either red or blue. Bell work. Here's what you're going to do for the bell work. You are going to be doing what's called the letter phrase thing, game, majigger. And so you're going to be picking 5 letters of the alphabet that are in a row, 5 consecutive letters. A, B, C, D, E, or L, M, N, O, P, or something along those lines. Each letter is going to start a 6 to 10 letter phrase that is describing your book report book. So you're going to describe something that happens in your book report book, either a character, an event, your opinion about a thing that's in there. So something that's going to connect your brain to what's going on in your book. I have examples up here. B, before her sister was taken. C, crazy mutations tried to kill. D, death was all around them. So each letter begins a phrase that is going to connect back to your book in some way. And so you're going to do 5 of them in a row. You can put things like a, an, or the in front of it. That's fine with me. If you really struggle, you can put the letter in the middle, like F over there. If you can't think of it, then you can come up with a word like deaf, D-E-A-F, and just put a big capital F at the end of it, so I know that's the letter you're doing. Just show me that you're thinking in some way. If you're confused at home, we've got your back. What we're going to do is have a couple kids give examples, and we'll try to help you out in that way. So, example ones for the ones that we can do on here. Now's the part where you get to volunteer. True X, what do you got?
For T, I have the tree frog.
Hang on. Be loud and powerful. T, you have?
The tree frog Gilbert was getting really dizzy after the vampire nations were on him.
Works for me. The letter after T is U. So what do you have for U?
Under the soot-covered Aldwin, there was a black and white hairy cat.
Works for me. Nicely done. After U is V, and that'll be?
Bastia is a place where familiars, royals, and wizards live.
Nicely done. T, U, V. W is my next one.
Wizards in Bastia are very powerful and can be dangerous.
Nice. W. X. Ooh. What did you do for X?
I'm still working on it.
That's fine. And that's one where you can come up with like an X later on in the word or something like that. I mean, true X, but that doesn't really help you on that one. True X is the girl that thinks or something. Be creative, and we'll get that one to you on for that one. All right, Jackson, let's see what you have.
For A,
So you did A is your first one.
after the werewolf broke in, the man grabbed a pickaxe.
Perfect. So after A is B.
Because of the bullet, the werewolf's face went sploding.
Works for me. After B is C.
Consequences of the werewolf's claw made the man's face come off.
That works. After C is D.
The disabled kid threw a firecracker at the werewolf's face.
That works. After D is E.
Execution from the werewolf is quick-ish.
That works. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Nicely done. And you'll be out of luck. That's what I'm going to do too.
Now I can draw. Yes.
So now, if you're good with bell work, you're good to go. If you're still working on it, then you can keep working on it from there. We'll try to help you out. Now, let me explain to you how the homework works, because the homework's going to be a little bit on the confusing side too. The good news is, we're going to do the same type of homework every week. So once I've explained it once, it's going to make your life easier. But the first time you see it, it's going to freak you out. So if you have iPad, you can do this, or if not, I'll just show you pictures. I'm happy either way. So on my website, again, if you go to the homework files and then go to short story handouts, on there, if you scroll down, there's going to be a spot on there that says story homework or story homework. And right below that, it says story homework number 1, has a little blue button. Tap blue button, and it's going to come up with this next page. Before I leave this page, here's the thing that you're going to want to know, where it says due Wednesday of next week. So this homework is due Wednesday of next week. So it's not due yesterday. We're not going to go back in time. It's due the following Wednesday. That's 6 days from now. That gives you 5 days to put it off and then 1 day to freak out and do it at the last minute, which seems nice, but it's also going to torture you because if you don't get my homework done, I get to make you stand and stuff like that. But there's a reason why you have so much time, which is going to be in this next part. When you click on it, here's what comes up. This big thing. So allow me to explain what this big thing does. The reason why it looks so long is because you have options. You have 3 different choices of what you can do on it. You only have to pick one of the choices. The first choice is just basically answering questions, and that is it. You're going to go through, there are 12 questions that are going to connect to the stories that you're going to have to read, and then you're going to answer 10 of those 12 questions. Here are the tricky things if you choose option 1. 1, there's 12 questions. You only have to answer 10, which means you get to skip 2 of them. It was one of those things when I was a kid, I always wanted to be able to skip questions. And now I'm an adult and I make my own homework, I set it up where you can skip questions. So you can skip up to 2 of the questions if you want. If you don't skip questions and you do all 12, it gets you a bonus B point. So if you want the extra B point, do all 12. If not, you can skip 2 of them. The next tricky thing is you have to do complete sentences. If you don't do complete sentences, it's going to end up costing you points, and I have to make you redo it, and it becomes a late grade. So you have to be able to show your complete thoughts. Homework, complete sentences. The third thing is you don't recognize that story, the fun they had, because it's not a story that we're doing together. For the quiz and for the homework, you are going to have to read a short story all on your own. Rachel's volunteered. I'm going to take this from you. To find that short story, here's what you're going to do. For those of you at home, this is what you're looking at right there on my website. You put finger on here and you scroll. Look, story magically appeared. It is right below the homework. So all you have to do to get to it is you're going to scroll down. It's a story called The Fun They Had. It is one you have to read all on your own. My quizzes don't cover stuff that we do together in class because I give you all those answers. My quizzes is on my desk over there. My quizzes are going to make you do a thing on your own. So you have to read a story on your own and figure out stuff with your own brain. To get to story, again, it is on that homework. Scroll down. It's right there. Scroll down. It's right there. It's about 1.5 pages long story. It's about kids set in the future who have gotten rid of teachers and stuff like that. So that's what you're going to have to do on your own. Read that story for the quiz coming up. If you don't want to do option 1, you're going to do option 2. If you do this one, you don't have to do that one at all. Completely ignore it. That's why it's called an option. Option 2 is just like the bell work. You're going to do phrases, but instead of the book report, you're going to talk about the stories we're doing in class. And instead of you choosing your own letters, I give you letters. THEFUNVOICES. The fun voices. 12 letters. And those 12 letters, you're going to go through and talk about all the things that happened in those stories. The robot teachers article, the voices that we're going to read today and tomorrow, and then the fun they had that you have to read all on your own. And you're just going to do 4 different letters about each one of those. As an example, you could do T, the article was about getting rid of teachers and using robots. H, hating to get rid of teachers makes me sad. Something like that. And you just go through and do the describing thing and then do one about today's story and then one you read on your own. Or option 3. Here's how option 3 works. Option 3 is only available to you if you get a 21 or higher on your quiz next week. The quiz will be on Monday. If you get a 21 or higher on that quiz, you may choose option 3. Gesundheit. Option 3 involves you just taping that quiz into your notebook. And that's it. You don't answer questions. You don't do the phrasing. All you're going to do is tape that quiz into your notebook. The reason being, you've already proven to me that you understand the material by getting an A on my quiz. Because my quizzes are not easy. The only way to get an A on my quiz is by reading the story, understanding what it's talking about, and doing really well on it. So in that case, my reward to you is, you don't have to do the homework. You just tape your thing in there. But, here's the fine print. you have to join Mr. Brovicast's tape club in order to do option 3. Here's how you join my club. Bring your own tape. It's not real hard. But you have to have tape with you the day the homework is due. So next Wednesday, you have to bring your tape with you, and you have to have your name written on that tape for it to count. That's how you join my tape club. That way you're showing me that you brought tape with you and your name is on it. If you don't have tape, you have 2 options. Either A, go out and buy tape. It's 50 cents from the bookstore. Or B, you don't do option 3. As simple as that. Because you have to have tape here in class. If you show up on Wednesday with your quiz taped in and you don't have tape with you, you fail the homework. Because it says in the directions, you have to have your own tape in the room on that day for this one to work. If not, you automatically fail that homework assignment. So you have to bring it with you on that day for it to work. You may do more than one option. You may do option 1 and 2 if you wanted to, and that's fine with me. That gets you extra B points. Every extra option gets you an additional 3 B points. So far, it sounds good. Here's the evil part, where I get to be awful to you. My quizzes are tough because they require you to think, and they're open note. You get to use the handouts. You get to use the stories. So because of that, I push you to think. So I make my quizzes extra tough on that one. So getting an A is not easy. But I know that. So to help you, I give you half the questions ahead of time. I give you half the questions in there. So I hid half my questions on the quiz in option 1. So if you do option 1, you're going to have half the questions already done. And if you do the homework, you get to use it on the quiz. So if you show up Wednesday and you've already done option 1, when it comes time for the quiz, you get to get your notebook out and you get to go ahead and go through there and use it on that one. But here's why it's evil. The best way to do this is by having this done. But if you do this, then what's the point of doing that? See why it makes me evil? So that's how it works out. So the best way in order to do well in the quiz is by knowing those answers. But if you know those answers, there's no... So if you get this one, what most kids end up doing is option 1 and option 3, and then you get an A and you get extra B points. So that's the thing to try and help you out on that one. Or you can be like the lazy kids and just wing it and show up on Monday and go, I'm just going to guess. And you go, holy cow, that was impossible. And I go, I know. Did you read the story? No. Did you look at the questions? No. Am I dumb? A little bit. But the idea is you get better the next week. You get to move on from there. If all of that confused you and you just felt your brain melt, let me help you out. Just do option 1. Ignore everything else. So in that case, if you just do option 1, ignore this, and ignore everything else, you're fine. Just do option 1 and you're fine. These other ones are just there for kids who can figure it out. So hopefully that helps make things a little bit easier on you. Questions as far as the homework goes. Yay. We're done with iPad. We're done with notebook. Unless you're still working on bell work. If you're still working on bell work, you can keep working on that, and that's fine with me.
Your logic just made my brain cells to
I know. Well, I keep talking about the fact that you guys have to survive my class, and you guys are like, whatever, survive. Literally, you have to survive my class, because if not, I'm going to break your brain as it goes along.
I survived.
We've not gotten to my first real quiz yet. That's next week. Next week is my first chance where I get to truly make you think. Everything up till now has been practice for next week. I wish you luck. Next up, it's you. Here. This is due tomorrow. Realize, not having it done is not an option. If it's not done tomorrow, you simply take a 0 and then lose the right to sit down in class. And you're going to stand every day until it gets done. But eventually, all of my homework's going to get completed. I will leave the videos up on my website until tonight through about 10 o'clock, and I'll take them off. And then we should be good to go from there. Questions as far as this side goes? Turn it over. This side of it, we're going to do the word foreshadowing on there. So we're going to go through there and sort of add some more in to try and help you out. So now, the word foreshadowing. In theory, some of you have seen this word before because it's popped up in like other things in past classes. You guys know what foreshadowing is?
Yes. Like me shadowing over my brother.
No. Jackson?
It's like
let's say like at the end of the movie or something, it's confusing, but basically it's revealed secretly in the beginning of the movie what's going to happen at the end.
Actually, not a bad way of saying it. Clues that help you figure out the ending of it. Nicely done. So foreshadowing is just when the author gives you clues to figure out the end of the story. You guys remember that Lady and the Tiger story we did? Yeah. And how the ending of it was? And how you guys got all ragey because it just stopped in the middle? Yeah. And I told you we'd never do a story like that again? Well, the story we're going to be doing today ends in the middle of a conversation. It just stops. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. There is an ending, but you have to figure it out through foreshadowing. There are clues all throughout the story that have this big reveal at the end, but the only way to get to that big reveal is picking up on the clues throughout the story. So there is an ending, it's just not in the story. You have to use your brain to figure it out, which is why I'm here, to help you figure out how to use your brain. Ethan?
Is this like a school version of Where's Waldo, but with words?
Sure, if that makes you feel better. So now, that's going to disappear, and we're going to take a look at the voices. With this one, whenever we do short stories and poems, I'm fine with you guys reading, and it not always being my voice. And so if you guys want to read, that's fine with me. If not, and you want me to read it all, that's fine too. But I know sometimes you guys get tired of listening to teachers speak. If you want to read, the way you tell me, instead of raising your hand, you just put your hand into a fist and then put it on top of your head. And that tells me the difference between I want to read versus I have a question. And if you have a question and want to read, it'd be something like that. And that way I'm looking at you and you're just looking at me like that, I'm like, oh, my next reader, and we get a chance to go from there. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. And again, I'll stop every once in a while, like, do we have anyone that wants to read? If not, I'll continue. If we have people that want to read, I'll let you guys tag in from there. Questions on so far? No. Staring at me. All right. The voices. With my strep, I can't promise this one. Use your imagination.
That's my mom when she wakes up.
Sammy, can you go to the office and tell them I need 20 copies of that front and back? Okay. Yes. I was going to do that, then you showed up. It's perfect. And they're going to teach you how to do it. Tell them, new cadet teacher, I need to learn.
You made the perfect impression of my mom would do that.
The loud scream woke Sam from his sleep. He sat up and flipped on the light next to his bed. A quick glance at the clock on his dresser told him it was 5 o'clock in the morning. It took him a frantic moment to figure out what it was that had woke him. It had been a scream. His own scream, he realized. He thought for a moment as to what had caused a scream frightening enough to wake him up. The car crash. The fire. His family dying in the horrible blaze. The images came rushing back into his brain moments before the realization did. The realization that it had been a dream and not real. It had been a vivid dream. It seemed eerily real, but it had been a dream. Only a dream. Quick time out. We know who our main character in theory is. And who's our main character going to be?
Yelling boy.
Sam. And where is it taking place?
In
his house, in his bedroom, and we know when it's taking place.
In the morning.
Specifically,
5 a.m.
5 a.m. So we know who it is, where it is, when it is so far. Ooh, and what's happened to him so far?
He died.
No.
He's predicting the future.
He had a dream about
a car crash.
There you go. He woke up from a dream about a car crash. He lay back in his bed and concentrated on relaxing. He still had an hour and a half before his alarm would go off for school. He had enough trouble today, what with his math test and all, so worrying about a bad dream was the last thing he wanted to do. By the way, there was a clue in there as to his age.
He's a preschool.
Nicely done. What's your clue that he's school level?
He has a test.
There you go. Talks about going to school and talks about having a math test. So you know the fact that he's not like some 80-year-old guy. But man, the dream, it seemed so real. It really spooked him. He could almost feel the heat from the fire, hear the screams of his family trapped in the burning wreckage, smell the icky fumes of burning rubber from the inside of the car mixed with the other smells he couldn't quite place and didn't want to. a smell that reminded him of summer barbecues for some reason, and he knew he didn't like it. No, he shook his head and tried to clear the disturbing images from his mind. This wasn't helping. He turned off his bedside lamp, rolled over to go to sleep. In the quiet of his house, he could hear his own breathing, the dog, Nevada, snuffling around downstairs, and the creaks of the house in the night. But it was then, at that quiet moment, in the middle of the night, he heard the voices for the first time. They were soft and foggy, but they were definitely there, and it scared him so badly, he wished he were dreaming again. We're coming. And then another voice, louder and much clearer.
Mom.
Dead!
Mom.
I have a speaker. I thought it would make things a bit more lifelike to make it sort of bring things into
I
it.
wasn't paying attention.
Isn't he ignoring you guys while you yell at me? That's a good question. So now we find out that more than just him waking up from dream and him being there, what is our new issue he gets to deal with? Voices are speaking to him and causing issues from there. Ethan.
Why does it say in the middle of the night, but then it says in the morning right there?
Well, because for some people 5 a.m. is in the middle of the night. It just depends on like opinion from there. Journey. These little dots mean we're going to be jumping to a new location or a new scene. So when Journey begins to read, we're going to find out that it's a new spot. It's no longer in his bedroom. So as we continue on from there. You ready, Journey?
Yeah.
And you're going to do like 3 or 4 paragraphs before I stop you. Be strong.
So do you?
I'll tell you when to stop. I'll tell you.
His eyes hurt. He was sitting in his first period science class and couldn't believe his bad luck. Mrs. Larks was droning on and on in front of the room. Something about cells and remembrances when his eyes kept bursting into flames. Well, not actual flames, but it sure felt pretty close. He was just sitting there trying not to get called on, trying not to think about what a horrible morning he had had. When all of a sudden his vision went completely white and he could feel an odd pressure on his eyelids. And then it was gone. Nothing. He could see just fine without a problem. No residual stars in his vision. No need to blink to clear his eyes. The whiteness was gone as quickly as it had come. Sam quickly looked around to see if anyone else had noticed the burst of whiteness, or if it had just been him. But nobody else seemed to be having a problem. He was looking to his left to see if Trevor had noticed it, when his left eye burst into flaming whiteness.
Stop. So, new location, no longer his bedroom. Where is he now?
School.
Now, school, science class, one of the scariest places of all. And now it's no longer voices that are haunting him, but a new issue. And the new issue.
His eyes.
His eyes. His friend does show up, but not yet. And the eyes, where all of a sudden it says one eye goes completely white and then goes away. And then sort of like if you had like a completely white piece of paper and held it right there. So one eye, all he sees is whiteness and then disappears. And then the other eye, nothing but whiteness. On top of that, he mentions feeling a pressure on his eye. Pressure's when you push on a thing. So when his eye goes white, he can feel like something pushing against his eyeball, and then boink, it disappears. And then something pushing on the other eye, and it goes white, and then boink, it disappears. Tomorrow, we get to figure out what's going on with Sam and all the fun things that go into there. You have no homework with this, because I've already given you homework. So if you need homework to do, it is reading the story on homework and then making sure you do the back side of your notes. That is the homework I have for you for now. Other than that, take off. See you later.